Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and here we have two new Twosuns, one with a super deep hollow grind. We're going to check this one out second. Let's start with this beast of a button lock. So it has an American Tonto, and it does have a very nice acute secondary tip. The handle on it is super beefy. It feels like you're holding a fixed blade. I love the sharpening choil and plunge grind. The button lock works really well. I think it has multi-row bearings. I'm not positive. This is D2 steel, which I'm pretty much okay with. I mean, for the price and like what you're getting materials-wise and everything, D2 holds a really good edge. You're just going to want to be careful with it with corrosion. But anyways, I'm not mad at it. I've never really been too mad at Twosun's D2. Would I rather 14C? Yeah, but I think they're having trouble getting it right now. So anyways, the action. So it has really nice, proud, standing thumb studs with a nice placement, very comfortable. Great push point in the way your hand goes around this big handle. Lots of leverage through that, and has a nice sound too. The lockup is super solid. I love the way it sounds when it slow rolls, man, and you can hear that lock just engage in. I love it. Rock solid. And there's no stick at all. I kind of wish there was a little tiny bit, but it's great. As long as it doesn't break in and wind up getting a little bit of rock, which this one's so solid, I think it'll be just fine. The detent, when you do deploy it, a little bit soft, but you have such a good leverage point on the thumb stud that it's fine. It is a Tepe design, and it's the TS-175. You can see everything right there. I'm kind of surprised to use D2 because normally he uses super steels on all his designs. He does number all his designs, which is pretty cool. Tepe does a really good job with all his designs, which I do really like. Now, in the close, no detent lash. Rock solid lockup. The micarta is somewhat of a burlap. I guess it's a burlap micarta. That'll get nice and dark. Titanium milled pocket clip. I have already used it. Works great. Titanium backspacer and a lanyard spot. So awesome knife. I think this one's going to work out great. Super comfortable in the hand, but it does feel like it leans forward because of how big this is back here. Look at how big that is. I do like it to get bigger back here, but this is a little obnoxious. But you can always choke up right here for some nice strong push cuts, and the button action works great. Now, let's check out this next one. All right, and this next one, the Twosun TS-344. It is in D2. It does have a super deep hollow grind with a really cool blade shape. And there's so much here to love. So much. But man, I'm not happy. I'm so not happy. I'm very upset at this knife. But it has so much potential. And I'm going to go over why I'm very upset about it. But it is a titanium, somewhat of a bolster lock, but it's kind of a liner lock too. So they got a frame lock that has lots of heavy milling, and they put these inserts over it. Titanium milled pocket clip, backspacer, D2 steel with this amazing hollow grind, which they don't normally do. Then the fuller, it is a fuller action only, which I really like. Nice sharp fuller. It works really good. Like really good. Access to the lock bar. I mean, it works. It works just fine. The detent is nice and early. Like super early. So it's easy to get past the detent. External stop pins to add to the strength. Nice strong lockup. Now the problem I have. Massive detent lash. And when I first got it out of the box, it almost felt like there was sand in the pivot. It has multi-row bearings. Well, I took it apart because it felt like it was super gritty. It felt wonky. And so I took it apart and cleaned it all up. And after taking it apart and cleaning it all up, re-oiling it, putting it back together, everything went back together just fine. It came apart just fine. But it only about 20% went away, maybe 30%. And it's almost, or I know what the problem is. The problem is the detent is rolling on this heavy satin finish under the pivot, and it's making it where it's like super gritty. They did not knock out a track for the detent, and they just put a heavy satin over it. And that will probably break in. So if it was just that, I'd be fine with it to some extent. Of course, I prefer it to be nice and smooth. I don't know why they would leave a heavy satin finish where the detent rolls. But with this detent lash, there's nothing I can do about that. Nothing. That will just get worse and worse and worse. And even though it's locked up rock solid and has the multi-row bearings and is kind of smooth, because of the way it is, I mean, the machining is really cool. I like how they did all the parts with the multicolored G10 and the carbon fiber, T8 hardware, full titanium backspacer, but something just feels wonky about it. Like it almost feels like I don't know, like parts are moving or something. And I know a lot of it has just to do with how it's scraping and the detent lash, because when it locks back in place, I almost feel like a vibration through the handle, but it's because of that. So that has so much potential, though, because this thing would be so good for utility cuts. So good for slicing and cutting straps with this nice thin geometry. The ergos are really nice in the hand. There's no flipper tab in the way. You can get up nice and close to the edge. But, you know, those other things just ruin it for me. Even though, man, it has so much potential. Now, there's one other thing. I wish the blade kind of canted downward a little bit instead of the way it goes up right here. I wish it went downward just a little bit, which they could have done in this handle. Or the designer, Mazwan Mokhtar, could have done it. I am glad to see him change the ball clip to this kind of clip. It is a little bit different. I haven't used it yet, but it's definitely different than he used to do. So I don't know how that works yet. It seems okay right now. I have to really try it over and over and over, but it seems like it's fine. But man, so much potential here. So Mazwan Mokhtar did a really good job on the design. Twosun just did not deliver on the execution. And it is what it is. I might be returning it. I'm not sure. That can be hell sometimes. Well, not really. They're fine, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. There you guys go. Just a quick look and a first impressions on these two new Twosuns. This one I'm pretty happy with, though. I want to be happy with this one because technically I like this one more. But this one, the execution was great on this one. So there you guys go. Love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.